Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then we will start. So, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, and welcome you all in this corona epidemic and this new system of teaching. Huh? So, today we'll study about what is gynecology. And today I'm going to give introduction about the gynecology and the basic concepts related to gynecology. So let's start from here. What is gynecology? First of all, we should know the definition. It is the study of woman. Gyne means woman. Gynecology means study of woman. But please note that this means the study of woman in health and disease. In health and disease. So it means that in gynecology, we will be taking care of healthy women also. So can you tell me about any healthy condition in which we care for the woman? Can any student tell me about any condition, study of a woman in health and disease? So in which healthy state we examine the patient?
Pregnancy.
Pregnancy, yes. So during pregnancy, when we care for the woman during pregnancy, it means that the woman is healthy because pregnancy is not a disease. So pregnancy, if it is not a disease, then caring the woman who is pregnant is a part of gynecology. The study of women in health and disease. Disease we all know, and it is also called the science of women. So it is the branch of medicine that deals with healthcare of women, especially in the diagnosis and treatment of disorders which are related to the female genital tract. Female genital tract. So it means that we have to have some knowledge about the female genital tract also. But the important thing about the female genital tract is that female genital tract does not work on its own. It is not a muscle. It is not just an organ or something. It has a control in higher centers. That is the hypothalamus. The function of ovaries, they cannot function without the hormones from the hypothalamus. The function of the tubes cannot occur without the control of hormones. Function of the uterus, the function of the uterus, the main part of the uterus is the internal lining, as is shown in this diagram. This internal lining endometrium, this is under cyclic control, cyclic release of hormones, not continuous. So, cyclic release of these hormones, they bring about changes in the endometrium every month. The example is the menstrual cycle. And there are so many disorders in gynecology which are related to menstrual disorders. Why is there menstrual disorder? There may be a local cause there in the uterus itself, or there may be hormonal imbalance. So those who think that gynae means female genital tract, they are not on the right path. So because we have to deal with the patient as a whole. So not only the genital tract, but its control, which is in the higher center. So this is the difference between gynecology and other specialties. For example, ENT may not have any cyclic connections with the brain, or other specialties may not have cervical medical. They may not have this type of cyclic connection with the brain, but the gynecology has cyclic connection. You see, these are as we say that it is related to the female genital tract. So this is the female genital tract, which is showing the uterus on one side and its connection with the ovary. How is it connected? This is through the fallopian tube, and within the ovary you can see one corpus luteum. This is the released egg, you can say. This after ovulation, this travels from the fimbrial end, is taken up by the fimbrial end, and then it passes through the whole fallopian tube and then enters into the uterus. So this is a beautiful purpose-built building, you can say. That is to propagate life, to initiate new life, and for that we need ovum. And these ova are produced in the ovary, and then they are carried through the tube into the uterus. And then the after fertilization, the growth of the baby, implantation occurs, and then the baby grows in the endometrium. And because of this preparation of the endometrium, the hormones are required, and this endometrium provides nutrition to the fertilized ovum, to the new conceptus. And lower down is the cervix, and below it is the vagina. And then there are external genital organs. So from there, the sperms, they ascend up. And you can see a white mucus plug in the cervix. So it keeps the infections away from the uterus. But sometimes it gets infected, and there are a lot of if the system is not working, then infection of this female genital tract occurs, and that infection is usually carried out or taken in by the external route, that is through the vagina. Through the vagina, cervix, the infection can ascend and can affect and infect the female genital tract. So there are various diseases, pelvic infections that may occur. So that will be studied in gynecology. You can see that this system is under a very fine control, and this control starts from where? It starts from the hypothalamus, from the brain, from the hypothalamus. And you know that hypothalamus can get influence from the external environment, right? So stresses may be, these stress can affect the hypothalamus. And those patients or those girls or those women who are more sensitive, they get these influences easily. If they are anxious or they have anxiety, or otherwise they have you can say a sensitive personality, then this axis is disturbed. And so external influences may be there, and the hypothalamus is under the control of the negative and positive feedback from the female genital tract. And from which part of female genital tract? The ovaries. So GnRH is released from the hypothalamus in the cyclic way, and it affects the pituitary, which is shown in red. And there is an anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary, you know of. And then pituitary hormones. Pituitary releases FSH and LH and prolactin. So FSH and LH are the main hormones that affect the menstruation. Most of the problems in gynecology, 60% of the OPD in our case, in our hospitals, is related to menstrual problems. So these menstrual problems have some reason which is shown in this picture. So a good doctor will be the one who can reach to the exact cause, and only then they will be able to treat the patient. So how does it affect? It starts from the hypothalamus, affects the pituitary, and from pituitary is released the LH and FSH, and they are released from the special parts of the ovary, the theca cells and the granulosa cells. So estrogen and progesterone are produced from the ovaries, and there is an auto-regulation over here. That is, when the estrogen level increases in the ovary, when there is formation of the follicle, then there is automatic inhibition of the hypothalamus and the pituitary to release FSH and LH. So in this way, as soon as they stop this phenomena, then withdrawal bleeding occurs. There is fall in estrogen and progesterone level, and menstruation occurs. So this is the mechanism of menstruation, a general mechanism of menstruation. So this is it that I was telling you. This is all under higher centers control. Then you can see the various cyclical changes that occur during a menstrual cycle. So there are various phenomena that are taking place during a menstrual cycle in different days of menstrual cycle. There is a special day during a month when the patient ovulates. So this whole mechanism is to propagate, to continue the human pregnancy. So every month the endometrium is prepared for getting the fertilized ovum, and if it is the conception has not occurred, then the endometrium deteriorates, and as you can see, the lowest line showing these pinkish type, this is the thickness of the endometrium is shown over here. This is endometrium, and you can see here on the day 14, a line in the center is drawn here, a dotted line, longitudinal vertical line is drawn. That is the you can say the dividing line between two phases that are occurring in every human female. And what are those? Before 14 days and after 14 days. So what is happening in the first 14 days, that is the menstruation and development of follicle. If you see the topmost line, that is showing the ovarian follicle development. So it's a cyclic change. So the ovarian follicle will not be of the same shape if you do ultrasound on any day of cycle. It must correlate with the day of cycle. So on 14th day, there is around 14 day, 12 to 14 day, the follicle achieves its maximum size and then it ruptures. The rupture is shown over here, and then it changes into yellow color. This is due to the presence of cholesterol and the formation of progesterone and all. So the hormones are produced here, and these hormones where the main prime site is the endometrium. So the endometrium develops. It proliferates under the effect of estrogen, which is produced from the follicle. So in the endometrium, which is shown in the last line, is the proliferate is in the proliferative. The proliferative phase is born. So if you correlate both the So about ovarian cycle, we will talk about follicular phase, and after the heading line, luteal phase, isn't it? And in the endometrium, we'll talk about the proliferative phase, first 14 days, and then the secretory phase. So it is naturally understood that follicular phase leads to release of estrogen, and estrogen is responsible for the proliferation. The proliferative phase and secretory phase of the endometrium, and follicular phase and luteal phase of the ovarian. And in between these three are shown the graphs, and they are showing the level of the hormones. And also there is a temperature change in the body of human being, female human, in the luteal phase, that is after 14 days. Why should there be a rise in temperature? This rise in temperature is because of release of progesterone. Progesterone is released from corpus luteum, and this affects the hypothalamus, the thermoregulatory center in the hypothalamus. And from there, because of the progesterone, it causes a slight rise in temperature, less than 1 degree rise in temperature. So, luteal phase, this is one of the ways if you want to check whether the patient is ovulating or not. You can give her a chart to note her this temperature daily, and you will find that after the day 14, patient shows a little rise in temperature, which means that the patient has ovulated. So it's a very simple clinical method to detect ovulation in a woman. So those patients who are not conceiving, they are not ovulating most of the time. So this is one of the methods by which you can check. And these two graphs are the hormonal graphs, which are shown over here. You can see the level of FSH and LH, which are released from the pituitary gland, and you can see the peak. So this is a very synchronized balance in the human body, which is controlled by the hypothalamus and the pituitary. So pituitary will release FSH in such a amount that it will form a peak, similarly, which is shown in green, and then the LH, which is shown in blue. So that will form a peak. It reaches to a peak, LH peak, and LH peak is responsible for the final maturation of the ovum and the release of the follicle. And that is from where this ovum will be released, as shown in the diagram in the insect. That the ovum will be released only at that point when there will be LH peak, and then it is taken up by the tube. And the function of the tube, the movement of the tube, the peristalsis of the tube, this is also under hormonal control. And then the cilia inside, the circular muscles, the outer muscles, they have got their own control. And then it is propelled, this ovum is propelled into the uterus, and then fertilization. So the third line, the next line is showing the ovarian hormones. Ovarian hormones, the most the early hormone that rises is the estradiol. From where does it come? Hello, students. From where does it come? Estradiol.
Placenta?
From where does this come? Estradiol.
No, sorry.
It comes from
Theca cells.
Granulosa cells.
granulosa cells, from the ovaries. So this comes from the ovaries. So estrogen rises, follicular phase continues, and at the maximum time the follicle achieves the maximum size. The maximum size of the follicle is around 2 centimeters, 20 millimeters. And then it, because of this peak, then it ruptures. This peak causes rupture, and that is under the influence of LH. So all are they are all related to each other. After this purple type, this line, this shows progesterone, which is released from the corpus luteum, right? And this progesterone is responsible for the maturation of the endometrium. So you can see, you can just appreciate. We'll go into the details of this later on. We'll study the menstrual irregularities and the menstrual problem. There is a condition in which there is a lot of involvement of hypothalamus, that is known as polycystic ovarian syndrome. PCOS इसको कहते हैं. In polycystic ovarian syndrome, what happens is that this cyclicity does not occur. This is stopped in those patients. No ovulation, no periods, and then the stoma gets increased in size, and theca cells get activated, and they release androgen type hormones, and hirsutism occurs, obesity occurs, and no periods. And those women and those girls who don't have periods, they will not ovulate, and once they will not ovulate after marriage, they will be having the kids, so they suffer from infertility. But that is treatable. That is another thing which we'll discuss later on. But the thing is that this menstrual cycle is so closely balanced. There is a very nice connection between all these structures, and every month this happens. So this is about the menstrual cycle, the actual control of menstrual cycle. My God, this is the mechanism. But you are not required to go into this. This is control of menstruation. You can see how fine is the balance, and in actions and interactions and all. But the main thing is what we have already studied in the color diagram. This is just to give you an idea. So in gynecology, we are dealing with the maximum number of population in the world. That is 51% of the world's population. You know that females are 51% of the world population. थोड़ा सा एक edge ज़्यादा है. So in gynecology, we are dealing with the female population, which is the 51%. So we are dealing with more patients or more proportion of the world population. So this is another point about gynecology. Now in gynecology, as you can understand, that this concept is very important, because you know that it is not only in the female genital tract, but in our society and also in every society, the women's problems are not only related to the female genital tract, but we have to understand the woman in gynecology especially as a biopsychosocial model. What is meant by that? Woman as a biopsychosocial model, which means that we have not only to deal with her biological problems, that is her pathological problems that have occurred. Say, for example, she has formed fibroids. You must have heard about the name of fibroid. So, if the patient develops fibroid, how would you manage the patient? So, the patient's management will be when you consider the patient as a biopsychosocial model. What are the what is the problem with the patient? Psychologically, how does she take it? And what psychological impact will be there if you treat it? If you remove the uterus, fibroid means hysterectomy. What will happen to the patient? Will she be able to conceive? What is her thoughts about the presence of uterus? The presence of uterus, you know, is a sign of femininity. I mean, uterus is not an appendix. कि जब चाह remove कर दिया. Women, they feel that they are not women if the uterus is removed. You see, so it is a very sensitive issue. So in gynecology, you have to understand the woman, understanding to study the woman as a whole in health and disease. So for that, you have to understand, if you want to manage a woman, or if you have to work in gynecology and you have to properly manage the patient, then you must understand this model, biopsychosocial model, and not only the psychological, but also the environment in which she is living. And you know that our women are living in a compromised state. Already it is a male-dominated society, and our women, maybe I'm not talking about the upper class, but there are so many problems in the upper class also. So the women are taken as a second citizen. They have no right, they have no decision, they are just dependent on the in-laws, not only the male member, not only on husband, but the in-laws. So mother-in-law factor is also there. So in this connection, you treat the patient. So, and what are social, say for example, a woman who comes to you for antenatal care, she is pregnant, but she is highly anemic, she has deficiency of folic acid, she has B12 deficiency, she has iron deficiency. So how would you deal with her? आप उसको ये खा लो, वो खा लो. So is she responsible? Will she be able to take all these things? आप उसको highly nutrition diet बता देते हैं. Will she be able to? या आपने अपने आप को पूछना है. You have to ask yourself, which patient I'm dealing with, and socially, is she able to carry out all this? अगर आप उसको कह देते हैं रोजाना सेब खाओ, will she be able to? She will not be. Why? Because there are other issues at house, and the husband may not be affording, and maybe husband may think that this is the last thing to offer to her wife. So the situation here is very, very different. So you have to think about whenever there is a problem in a woman, how to deal with that problem. Sometimes patient don't even they don't tell their problems. The problem कुछ और होती है, and the patient will just say that I have dizziness or something like this. So it is the doctor's duty. A good doctor will be the one who will think about why the patient has come to her or him. So you have to dig into and you have to find out what is the real problem. Maybe she is a case of subfertility, but she will say that उसको चक्कर आते हैं. So how do you reach to the thing? So a good doctor will be able to understand the woman only and can treat the woman only when you consider the woman as a biopsychosocial model. So in biological, you will be, as shown in the diagram, physical health, disabilities, genetic problems, they will all come in biological. Then psychological, self-esteem, coping skills, social skills, trauma, family relationships, very, very important. इसीलिए जब हिस्ट्री लेते हैं तो हम अपने डॉक्टर्स को कहते हैं कि आप पेशेंट का नाम लेके बुलाएं। अगर उसका नाम जमीला है तो डोंट कॉल हर मासी, या डोंट कॉल हर खाला, या डोंट कॉल हर ओए। तो just give respect to the patient and you call the patient by her name. आप नहीं रियलाइज कर सकते कि ये वो औरतें हैं जो घर में किसी ने इनका नाम भी नहीं पुकारा होगा, कभी इनको तमीज से बुलाया ही नहीं होगा किसी ने। तो इसलिए डॉक्टर की बड़ी इन डेप्थ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है। सो ये क्यों जरूरी है? दिस विल क्रिएट अ गुड लिएजन विद द पेशेंट, और जब लिएजन बनेगा तो आपको प्रॉब्लम सेकंड्स में आप हल कर सकते हो उसकी। लेकिन अगर लिएजन नहीं बनेगा, एक मील दूर बैठे रहेंगे और दूसरी तरफ देखते रहेंगे और हिस्ट्री लेंगे, तो यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू क्रिएट अ लिएजन विद, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू determine the cause of her illness. So biopsychosocial model, and socially here what is written, the family circumstances, स्कूल तो दूर की बात है, बट जनरली सोशल एनवायरनमेंट जो एक पेशेंट को मिला है उसके हिसाब से आपने, सिमिलरली अगर आप कोई इसको बहुत कॉस्टली मेडिसिन लिख देते हैं, अगर आप लिख देते हैं GnRH एनालॉग लिख देते हैं या कोई जो कि 10,000 का एक इंजेक्शन है, और वही प्रॉब्लम फैमिला 28 से हल हो सकता है, विच इज फ्यू रुपीज पर मंथ। तो आपने ये भी देखना है कि किसी लेबरर को या किसी डेली वेजेस को आपने मेडिसिन लिखनी है, अफोर्डेबिलिटी किस तरह से है, सोशो इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड क्या है, और फिर रिलेशनशिप्स। ये बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट बात है जो देखी गई है, वो ये है कि हस्बैंड्स they are not caring for wives, and wives are dependent on their husbands. अगर कोई पेशेंट एंटीनेटल केयर नहीं करा रही, you know कि जनरली in the initial days antenatal care is required every month, one visit every month, but is the patient able to come to you every month? हमने देखा है कि OPD में डॉक्टर्स जो हैं they are scolding and they are abusing or they are using harsh language with the patient. क्यों नहीं आए तुम, क्यों नहीं चेक कराया, अब देखो इतना अनीमिया हो गया है। This is not her. She cannot come, she cannot leave her house without any support. Male का तो इंडिपेंडेंटली एक स्टेटस होता है, तो इंडिपेंडेंटली जहाँ भी आना चाहेगा जाएगा ही, बट फीमेल्स आर नॉट लाइक दिस, so they have to ask somebody to accompany her, or whenever she has to leave, then she has to arrange for that. Maybe husband, if his husband is at work and he doesn't find time, he will not let the woman go, or the patient will not be able to have the antenatal. महीने गुजर जाते हैं and the patient becomes anemic, and आप देखेंगे कि emergency में कि patient किस हाल में आते हैं, and then she goes into bleeding and PPH and then she dies. So it is associated with maternal death also. So the problem is that how do we tackle the woman as a biopsychosocial model? ठीक है, इस चीज को अंडरस्टैंड करने की बहुत है। Then there are various phases. अब आप देखेंगे when you are dealing with females, you will so gynecology is not only about the reproductive years. It starts from the childhood, puberty, adolescence. This is all gynecology. The phase where a girl is becoming an adult. And then the reproductive years, yes, most of the women you will see will be in the reproductive age, and then comes the menopause. Menopause itself is the problem. Menopause means cessation of periods. So menopause causes a lot of hormonal changes in the woman. So these patients will be there, 20%, and the menopause And forgetfulness, all these things, they are all related to menopause. And these menopausal women, they are old, they have crossed their reproductive years, and psychologically they are much disturbed or at home. Why? Because phase hota hai. At menopause, what is happening? The children are grown up, and she is not having a relationship with the husband because of the menopause. She is old enough, and so nobody is supporting her. And the children, the girls, they are usually married when the woman reaches the age of menopause. The daughters are married, they have gone to other houses, and the male boys, they may be studying, or they may be outside, or they may be on job, or they are in a different country or a different city. So इसको कहते हैं empty nest syndrome. Empty nest syndrome. चिड़िया होती है, उसके एग्स होते हैं, उसके वो चूजे निकलते हैं, बच्चे निकलते हैं, फिर वो उड़ जाते हैं, चले जाते हैं, तो नेस्ट एम्प्टी रह जाता है. Menopause is that state. It has got a lot of psychological impact also. Physically also she is weak, her bones are weak, her bones are frail, there is backache, she cannot carry out her household activities, and mentally she is having forgetfulness and dementia type of thing, or she may be irritable, she may be more irritable. So इसीलिए कहते हैं कि जब आप ओल्ड एज में अपने माँ बाप को पाएं तो उन्हें उफ ना करें. So this is the reason. This is the reason. वो लेडी जिसने सारी लाइफ घर को कंट्रोल करने में दी है, और now she is weak, but the relationship should change. Relationship should become more deep, and she should be taken good care of, isn't it? So इसलिए ये सारी चीजें. So we are dealing with various phases of female life in gynecology. Then ये बात हमने कर ली थी, biopsychosocial model. And what is the difference between gynecology and obstetrics? So what do you think? Is obstetrics part of gynecology, students?
Yes.
Yes, very good, very good.
Yes,
Okay, good, very nice. Why? Because gynecology covers all.
Yes,
हाँ,
deals with the problems of
women, women and problems of women, and obstetric means which is related to pregnancy beyond the age of viability. ठीक है?
Yes.
तो जो pregnancy part है ना, क्योंकि gynecology is a big subject, but almost 50% of it is taken up. The red color shows obstetrics. Almost 50% of it is taken up by the obstetrics, and obstetrics means this is a part of gynecology which is related to pregnancies beyond the age of viability. This is very important. Beyond the age of viability. And what is the age of viability? Age of viability is around 20 weeks. Internationally, it is 20 weeks. हमारे यहाँ 28 weeks. For you students, it is 28 weeks. And for practical purposes, the nurseries available here, it is maybe 36 weeks, 34 weeks. It's like, so it is variable, right? So for you students, it is 28 weeks. It is 20 weeks. 20 weeks, पहले 24 weeks था, वो 20 weeks पे आ गए हैं, ठीक है? So this is obstetrics, and before that, before the age of 80, the case will go to the general gynecology, right? So this is the difference between gynecology and obstetrics. A part of, but it is related to pregnancy beyond the age of fertility, right? So we have different papers. With the paper will be different. Gynecology paper अलग दिन आएगा, obstetric paper अलग दिन होगा. तो उसको separate उस तरह से कर दिया गया है, but otherwise it is one. अच्छा, इसको रहने देते हैं. तो symptoms. तो क्या क्या problems आप face कर सकते हैं when the woman comes to you in gynecology? So the symptoms would be menstrual symptoms, as we have already discussed. She may not be having periods, which is called amenorrhea, no periods. This is a very alarming sign. Patient becomes too much disturbed when she does not have periods. Otherwise, she should have periods every month. In reproductive life, she should have periods every month. But if she does not have period every month, she becomes disturbed. She is tense. She is anxious. So it is doctor's duty how to solve the problem and how to find out what is the cause of her amenorrhea, right? So this topic of amenorrhea I will be discussing with you. This is with me, primary and secondary amenorrhea. So later on we'll discuss. Then the patient may be disturbed with the irregular periods, infrequent periods or frequent periods, no cyclicity. No cyclicity means that this hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis is disturbed. So irregular periods, that is FSH is not being released in time, LH is not being released in time, and there the control by the estrogen progesterone is not perfect. That's why the patient is having irregular periods. But there may be other causes also. So how to deal with that? So it also gets complicated, but it is very easy. We will study that. Then scanty periods. Scanty period means ke oligomenorrhea. It is also called oligomenorrhea means ke patient is not having period. Generally, the periods are from for 5 to 6 days or 7 days. But if the patient has period for just one day every month, then she gets disturbed. While she is having less period, is she going to have, enter into menopause? So menopause is a dreadful thing. Sometimes we get patients with premature menopause. That is, normally the age of menopause is 50 years. But sometimes we are having patients who develop menopause at the age of 28 years, 30 years, 35 years. So this is also an alarming thing. So how to deal with that? Then heavy periods. Heavy periods is another issue. It can lead to anemia, and anemia, decreases the quality of life. It will cause insomnia. It will cause headache. It will cause dizziness. It will cause shortness of breath. Patient will not be able to carry out her household work. She become anxious and stressed and irritability, mood changes. So heavy period can do so many things. Heavy periods leading to anemia, and anemia is causing the main problems. So heavy period is has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with early so that the patient's problem gets solved. Similar, and then dysmenorrhea. Every month when the patient bleeds, she undergoes severe pain in lower abdomen. She has to take leave from the school, leave from the college, leave from the household work. Dysmenorrhea. It's a very painful type of condition. So we will study all this, and then post-coital bleeding. Post-coital bleeding. So this is another alarming sign. One of the signs of first sign of which carcinoma? Carcinoma of cervix. So it is related with carcinoma, post-coital bleeding. Yes, carcinoma of cervix, right? So these are the things. These are the menstrual problems we will be facing, right? Now we come to the patient may come to you with mass in abdomen. Mass in abdomen. This mass in abdomen, we should know, okay, what are the various causes of mass in abdomen in gynecology. So there could be fibroids, it could be just pregnancy, it could be a carcinoma, it could be ovarian tumors, and there could be ovarian masses and endometriosis. We'll study all these things. So how to differentiate between these masses? ये ना हो कि आप फाइब्रॉइड हो और आप ओवेरियन ट्यूमर कह दें, या ओवेरियन ट्यूमर और आप फाइब्रॉइड कह दें, या वो सिंपल प्रेगनेंसी आप कहेंगे ये तो ओवेरियन ट्यूमर है, मैडम ने कहा था कि मैस एब्डोमेन हो तो ओवेरियन ट्यूमर होता है और आप प्रेगनेंसी को ऑप्ट कर बैठे. So you have to differentiate between these. So mass abdomen, you can see a mass abdomen over here. You can see this is the mass in abdomen, and what did it come out? This was the mass. So this is an ovarian cyst. This is large ovarian cyst that has come out, right? So the ovary, which is so small, it is what is the size of normal ovary? It is the size of the distal phalanx of the thumb. Distal phalanx of the thumb. This is the size of the ovary, and when it gets enlarged more than the size of the hand. cannot be hold even in 2 months. So it gets enlarged to that extent. Then this is the right? So this is the white color can large also. They can form a mass in abdomen, and once they form the mass in abdomen, then they as a with menstrual problem or things like that. So this is a huge fibroid. ये आती हैं खबरें, अगर कहीं गुजर खान में निकल आए तो जी इतने किलो की रसौली, तो इतने किलो की रसौली, इस तरह की बातें आप सुनी होंगी। जी, you want to say something? Okay, so this is fibroid. How do you know that this is fibroid? Because you can see the uterus in the center. See a small bulge in the center? That is the uterus, and there is an anterior large fibroid and a posterior large fibroid. How do you identify a uterus? Because there is a tube-like thing which is coming out from the uterus. This is the fallopian tube, and you can see another ligament to which is attached ovary down there near the drape. So the uterus is in the center, and the fibroid, anterior and posterior fibroid. So male abdomen could be anything. So you have to differentiate this, and this we will study. Then the patient may come to you with pain in abdomen. So pain, first thing is that we have to consider why she's having pain. Can you tell me about any condition when a patient comes in gynae emergency with pain abdomen and she is pregnant?
Ectopic pregnancy?
Yes, ectopic, and ectopic is life-threatening. You see, it is life-threatening. If you diagnose, you will save a life. तो इसी तो कहते हैं कि जिसने एक जिंदगी को बचाया उसने पूरी इंसानियत को बचा ली, तो ये वो जिंदगी. So if you don't diagnose, then you will face death, right? The patient will bleed and the patient will face death. So any patient coming to gynecology, if she is having pain in abdomen, even if there is no mass, ectopic pregnancy usually present in early stage. That is in like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Early pregnancy, when the abdomen is not enlarged, it is just start of pregnancy, and the patient is having severe pain. So the first thing that should come to mind is the ectopic pregnancy. There may be other milder forms like UTI and other type of pains, but must consider ectopic pregnancy. So the main thing is that the patient comes to you with pain in abdomen and you are sitting in an emergency, then you have to first decide whether she is pregnant or non-pregnant. And is it gynecological? Really, is it gynecological cause? Because there may be non-gynecological causes of severe pain in abdomen. The pain in right iliac fossa, can anybody tell me? A woman coming to you, a girl coming to you with pain in right iliac fossa, and she's not pregnant?
It can be
Appendicitis?
appendicitis.
Appendicitis, yes.
UTI?
Yes, कितनी दफा इस तरह होता है कि the doctors they get confused whether it is appendicitis or right-sided ectopic pregnancy. So there is a special test then we have to offer, and like beta HCG and all. Only then we will be able to find out whether it is ectopic pregnancy. So there may be gynecological causes and there may be very serious non-gynecological causes. So it's the doctor's job to differentiate between them. So pain in abdomen, right? So mass in abdomen, pain in abdomen, and earlier menstrual problems. We have discussed then mass in abdomen, pain in abdomen, and what else? Something coming out of vagina. Now what is this something? This something is the uterus itself. Can you see the picture down there? The mass is protruding out of the vagina. This is the uterus that has prolapsed. Whole of the uterus, whole of this internal female genital organs, they come out of the. So it's a very horrifying scene. Although it's not life-threatening, but it is very horrifying when something is coming out and hanging out of the vagina. So this is called pelvic organ prolapse, POP. Or there may be other differentials like thyroid polyp, there may be cystocele, that is bladder prolapse, there may be rectal prolapse, things like that. This will also be discussed on how to deal with them and how to solve this problem. So something coming out of vagina. This is also one of the very favorite university questions also. So and then vagina discharge. यहाँ पर फिजियोलॉजिकल वैजाइनल डिस्चार्ज, हमारी सोसाइटी में यहाँ पे फिजियोलॉजिकल वैजाइनल डिस्चार्ज को भी पैथोलॉजिकल समझा जाता है. So this is your duty to understand what is the difference between a physiological vaginal discharge and pathological. What do you think? Physiological discharge will be cyclic or acyclic?
Physiological will be cyclic.
Cyclic. Yes, excellent. So whenever the patient or her, sometimes the mothers, they bring their daughters, इसको ये तकलीफ है जी, इसको ये तकलीफ है, मतलब ये कि वो खुद भी परेशान और उसकी बेटी भी परेशान और they are getting treated just for nothing. So if you just ask for the cyclicity, कि पूरे महीने रहता है या कुछ दिन रहता है, फिर ये कुछ दिन कौन से होंगे, ये वो around day 14. Around day 14, because if the woman or the girl is ovulating, then she will be having vaginal discharge. Sometimes it is excessive, maybe more glands are there or they are active. So physiological vaginal discharge has to be differentiated from pathological discharge. Pathological discharge is a sign of pelvic infection, which will cause pain, also pain in the abdomen, and it can cause blockage of the fallopian tubes. And once the tubes are blocked, then the patient will not be able to conceive. So pathological vaginal discharge is very dangerous sign. I mean, dangerous in the sense this reproductive capacity is gone because of that. So PID, pelvic inflammatory, so one of the signs of pelvic inflammatory disease, pathological vaginal discharge. But physiological discharge needs just reassurance, no treatment at all, and proper guidance. तो यहाँ पे वही biopsychosocial, तो वो कॉन्सेप्ट जरूर ध्यान में रखना है, उससे होता है. Okay जी. Then there are certain special diseases like endometriosis. Endometriosis is a very disease, troublemaking disease, and the patients suffer a lot because of that, because this causes pain in abdomen, chronic pain in abdomen. Always there is a pain in abdomen, and there is dysmenorrhea. That is, the periods are also painful. Every month she's having period, and every month they are painful. Then it is also associated with dyspareunia. So this intercourse is difficult, and the patient feels severe pain. So dysmenorrhea, dyspareunia, and pain lower abdomen, and sometimes difficulty in passing stools, dysphagia. So all these things, they are related with endometriosis. और endometriosis की treatment final क्या है? Removal of ovaries and removal of uterus, removal of all this. It forms masses in the abdomen. This disease forms multiple masses and cysts in the abdomen. Very painful and very distressful type of condition. So the patient just is a useless member of the society, because if she's having pain, she's not happy. And once she's not happy, then she is not able to conduct her whatever she's doing. She will not do that thing. So just gone. So and how to treat it by month by month by month. If you treat it, if you remove the ovaries, then you have sent her into menopause. उसके अपने मसाइल. So how to treat these are the diseases which will be specially taught to you. The endometriosis and how to treat endometriosis, PID, pelvic inflammatory disease, it could be due to tuberculosis also. Then the PCOS. ये PCOS की पिक्चर भी साथ अल्ट्रासाउंड की लगी हुई है कि how does the PCO appears on ultrasound. This is the ultrasound picture of the ovaries, polycystic ovaries. You can see the follicles which are aligned at the periphery of the ovary, aligned in a single layer like this. So this is a typical condition of polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is coming up more and more. We see a lot of patients there. एक तो ये कोरोना पेंडेमिक है, इसी तरह ये पॉलीसिस्टिक पेंडेमिक, बिकॉज ये बड़ा कॉमन है, अनमैरिड में भी, मैरिड में भी, और लेटर लाइफ में भी पॉलीसिस्टिक ओवेरियन सिंड्रोम. Then we will study miscarriages as a separate subject, or early pregnancy loss, EPL. Then illegal abortions. This will be, we will also study why, because getting pregnant must be legal. And if there is illegal pregnancy, then the patient get terrified and then they want it to be removed. The removal of this illegal pregnancy is not legal in Pakistan. So the patient is in trouble. So illegal abortion, this is medical legal. It becomes a medical legal case. If any doctor is found doing this type of thing, then medical legal issues come in, and how to save yourself from the medical legal issues and how to deal with illegal things. Similarly, rape, sexual assault. So with this we will discuss. And contraception. What about contraception? Is contraception or family planning? There are various projects which are run by the government. What do you think? Are they successful? Yes, students.
What's
Yes.
question क्या है मैम?
क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या ये फैमिली के मेथड्स पाकिस्तान में सक्सेसफुल हैं?
मैम डिपेंड्स साइंस कितनी है.
हाँ, compliance पे हैं, and all these programs, they are not showing the effects which are the desired effects, right? So why? Because the message is not reaching to the couples who need it. ये मैसेज किन में जा रहा है? ये हायर सोसाइटीज में जा रहा है, ये सिटीज में जा रहा है. It's not reaching to the villages or to the remote areas, right? So contraceptions, हाँ. So contraception, what are the various methods and how to deal with them, and how to propagate them. So it's important. Unless you, the medical students, understand about these things, how will they be able to convince others, and how will they guide the patients about it? So this we will study in gynecology. And then in the last, there are 3 subspecialties in gynae. First subspecialty is the subfertility. The subfertility could be due to various factors, right from the ovaries, or it could reach up to the unexplained. So subfertility is one subspecialty of gynecology. The second subspecialty is oncology. Which oncology? Gynecological oncology. And which organs are involved in gynecology? The cervix, carcinoma of cervix, and the pre-malignant conditions, then ovarian carcinoma, endometrial carcinoma, and then vulvar and vaginal carcinomas, but they are rare. The 3 main malignancies that you must know of is the cervix, ovaries, and the endometrial carcinoma. These are the 3 main malignancies which we face in gynecology. Then the third subspecialty is the urogynecology. Urogynecology is a new subspecialty which is emerging, and that deals with the incontinence. Urogynecology means related to urine and the pelvic floor. So urinary incontinence, stress incontinence, so various types of incontinence. So it's a big blessing from Allah that you are all continent. That is, you can control your stools as well as the feces. But these patients, they are not able to control. So once, if they are not able to control, then they become social outcast. Say if the woman develops a fistula between the bladder and the vagina, then the urine which is coming from the kidneys, ureters, entering into the bladder and then entering into the vagina, coming out. So vagina has got no sphincter type mechanism, so it will continuously pass out. So once the urine is continuously passing out, the other people cannot sit with this patient. because of the smell, and she herself becomes dirty and she is smelly. So these patients, they become social outcasts. So उनको सब लोग अलग कर देते हैं. So it's a very, very problematic thing. Then maybe कि fistula नहीं है, but she is incontinent, has incontinence always, and our women are very careful about prayers and all. So they have to be neat and clean for that. So if she is incontinent, she will not be clean. How will she pray for then for? So the thing is that this is a new field, and it is related with incontinence, not only the incontinence of the urine, but also of the fecal matter, and also the prolapse. UV prolapse is also included in urogynecology. So these are the three subspecialties. Now, in the last about these ultrasound reports, so you have to be very careful about the ultrasound reports, especially the ultrasound report of ovarian cyst. What do you think about the cyst which is shown over here? You can see the picture of the uterus and the fallopian tube and the cyst hanging.
Yes.
So, what do you think? What type of cyst? Is it a simple cyst or is it a complicated cyst, or what type of cyst is it? It is called follicular cyst, and it's a simple cyst. And the main problem with this type of cyst is that we have seen laparotomies and surgical removal of these cysts, and that lead to adhesion formation. And because of that adhesion, the woman developed infertility. So it is these follicular cysts. So you have to understand gynecology, that every problem or every abnormality is not disease, right? So there may be some very benign type of simple conditions which can be handled by a thoughtful approach. So, and this is one of the examples of that. So ultrasound में क्या होता है कि most of the ultrasonologists, they point or they highlight this thing. Once they highlight the thing, the patient becomes confused. She goes into stress, and then she starts coming to the hospital and requesting जी वो मेरे cyst बन गई है, इसको remove कर दें. और वो जो बहुत अक्लमंद डॉक्टर साहब हैं, वो उसको दाखिल कर उसको ऑपरेट छोड़ते हैं. तो फिर वो जो डॉक्टर साहब हैं, फिर वो जब ऑपरेट कर देते हैं, फिर पेशेंट की एडिशन बन जाती है, और वो पेशेंट शी इज नॉट एबल टू कंसीव. तो ये बहुत इवन के ये जो pelvic organs हैं, इनको इतना सेंसिटिव एक तरह से इशू होता है कि तो कहा जाता है ना कि a good surgeon knows how to do. A good surgeon knows when to do. An excellent surgeon knows when not to do. So you have to be excellent surgeons, right? You should know when not to do. तो ये सारी चीजें हैं, आपको समझनी है, देखनी है कि these are the things which do not need an operation. दूसरी तरफ देखें, वो एक फाइब्रॉइड नजर आ रहा है. This is a fibroid, teeny mini fibroid, maybe a pea size, not more than that. अल्ट्रासाउंड रिपोर्ट में आ जाता है जी this patient is having fibroid. अब what do you think? क्या इसके रिमूवल से कोई हासिल होगा, फायदा होगा? There will be no फायदा. So this type of fibroid will not cause any symptoms. Fibroid वो था जो आपको दिखाया था, जैसे जो पिक्चर में आया था, fibroid, huge fibroids. So इस size के fibroid, so fibroid can be of any size, but it is the doctor's duty to understand कि is this problem which the patient is having, is it related to this fibroid? If it is related, yes, then it has to be dealt with. May not be surgery, may be some other method. But if it is not related to, then there is no need to remove this. So you have to be very careful when to do and when not to do. तो ये not to do वाली जो बात है ना, यहाँ तक आपको पहुँचाना है. So we are dealing with women of all phases of life, as we have told you. This girl, young girl, she needs your help because you are the healers. And these girls, university girls, 3 girls down there, they also need your help. They have various gynecological problems. They will need you. Then the more success story is shown in the center. And what is that? That is healthy mother, healthy baby. So what is the aim in obstetrics? Our aim in obstetrics, our motto is healthy mother, healthy baby. This should be the outcome. That every pregnant woman who comes to you should be in the same state of health, if not less than before, and with a healthy baby. तो दिस इसी आउटकम की वजह से ये सारी गायनेकोलॉजी पढ़ी जाती है, इसी आउटकम के पीछे ये सारी ऑब्स्टेटिक्स होती है, ये एंटीनेटल केयर होती है, ये सारी चीज़ें किस लिए की जाती है, ये ओपी क्यों भरे हुए हैं, ये बेड्स क्यों भरे हुए हैं, सिजेरियंस क्यों हो रहे हैं, डिलीवरीज क्यों हो रही हैं, दिस इज बिकॉज टू गेट दिस healthy mother and healthy baby. And this old lady, she also needs your help, you know. कि इसका personal, psychological, physical, what are problems with her, she needs you. So you are the healers, and we are going to prepare you for management of gynecological patient. Okay, जी फिर, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.